Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and well, what else did you expect other than a big old heart in the grid? This puzzle is Blobs' take on Valentine's Day, and we'll get to that in a moment. Now, yesterday I mentioned a free pack in the app, and in fact, in our CTC app, which is now the main app that we use for any new releases, the situation is that if you have purchased anything in that app, you can get the extra Valentine's puzzles. There are only 2 of them, in fact. One of them is by Half-Baked Lunatic, and it's excellent. Do check it out if you have purchased either Line Sudoku, I think either of the gas apps, or Domino Sudoku. Those are the ones that if you've purchased them, you can get the Valentine Sudoku. If you buy anything else in the app in the future, you can get the Valentine Sudokus as well. So to those of you who have purchased, they're free. Now, what else have we got? There are all our other apps, the older apps, which aren't on that CTC platform, on that CTC app, standalone. And they include Killer Sudoku and Arrow Sudoku. And they're well worth checking out. And Classic Sudoku, of course. Many others too. Now, also on Patreon, still 6 days to have a, I don't know, I've been assailed by hiccups now. This is very weird. As soon as I hit the go button, probably there's some psychological explanation. On Patreon, Riff Clown's Interactions still has 6 days to run as a competition. Do check it out. It is gold dust. It's really good line Sudoku. And we've also got Sven SUDOKU PAD in our merch, all on the links under the video. But the first link in the description field is to Teenage Love by Blobs. Yeah, Blobs is regarding 13 and 14 as the key digits for his heart and Valentine's Day. Now, for some of us it sounds a bit young, but actually I remember that Lady Capulet tells us that Juliet in Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet is not yet 14. So she's 13. I presume Romeo might well be 14 in that. And it certainly is an age for Valentines. And I don't know, if you ever actually had or sent a Valentine's card from an unknown Valentine, it was probably more likely around that age than one that is older than that. I'm just guessing. Let me know. Anyway, what are the rules? Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Every adjacent pair of digits along the line, so those 2 or those 2, do not repeat and must sum to 13 or 14. Oh, so they're not a pair of 7s, and they sum to 13 or 14. Digits in cages do not repeat and must sum to 13 or 14. Every cage is 13 or 14, okay. Digits along the arrow, which may repeat, sum to the value in the attached circle. So this is like Cupid's arrow, and I'm sure in his idealized version of this, Blobs would have drawn a straight line through to that, but we can't really render that in the software, and he couldn't either. So there we go. Thanks to Blobs for sending this. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Blobs' standard is normally, well, the sort of standard of puzzle I like to do. I'm hoping to get through this in maybe somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. You can already check the video length and see how long it took me in your past, but in my future. Oh, I've got the pen tool turned on. I'm turning that off. Right, let's get cracking. We've got a central box. Now, I get to share with you the secret, which is that every row, column, and box in a Sudoku adds up to the same number, and that number is 45. So share that carefully. Now, that means that these 3 cages add up to 41. And that means that 2 of them are 14s and 1's a 13. Is that helpful or interesting? Yeah, it is a bit. The 1 is not in, well, I mean, it's not, that deduction wasn't necessarily relevant, but there is a 1 in the box, and it must be in one of those 2 cells, because it's not in a cage of 2 cells that sums to 13 or 14. Actually, Oh, I was going to try and use that down here, but it doesn't work down there. Right, I didn't really get very far there. We don't know which of the cages is the 13 and which two are the 14s. But I wonder if we are going to be looking at summing and getting things done that way, or are we going to be... How about the line? 2 and 3, or the arrow I mean. 2 and 3 are the minimum there, and 1 there. So this is at least 6. Not wildly helpful. A 13 or 14, oh no, this cage, its minimum digits are 2, 3, 4 and 5, and they add up to 14. Now, this digit is at least a 6 now in the column. So these must have a 1 in now. I was going to say that in a 13 cage of 4 cells you must have a 1, but in a 14 cage you don't need to, and lo and behold there is a 14 cage without a 1 in it. I think that'll be... I was going to say I think it'll be the only one in the grid. I suppose that could be 2, 3, 4, 5. The odds are against it. Now, that's not a 4 by Sudoku. This could still be a 2-3 pair. Don't see why not. 1 and 3 have been used in this box. They're quite low digits. So the minimum here is 2, 4, 5, adds up to 11. But the cage adds up to 13 or 14. Can you put 9 in a 3-cell cage? Yes, is the basic answer. Although, interestingly, 9 couldn't go in that... In fact, these digits are all 6, 7, 8 or 9. I'm going to sketch those in now. 6 or so, they could go with anything from 4 upwards. Well, not quite to 9, but almost all the way up. Same again here. Yeah, I don't think those pink connections are very helpful yet. These 3 add up to somewhere between 39 and 42, leaving that cell to be somewhere between 6 and 3. This one, similar to that, could be... Yeah, I suppose all the 2-cell cages, they're 13 or 14 connections, a bit like along the line. Oh, these 3 all have to add up to 13 or 14. And so does that pair. So there can't be a 1 in any of those cells, I reckon. Because 1 plus 1 other digit cannot get to 13 or 14. So that's a 1. Nor can 2 plus any other digit, and nor can 3. So 2 and 3 are definitely in those cells in this box, and that is now 4 or 5. 4 or 5, it gets a bit more flexible. 4 would have to be next to 8 or 9. Now, these two add up to 12 or 13. This one to 13 or 14. So our total there is somewhere between 25 and 27. Plus 4 takes us to 29 to 31, leaving these two to add up to 14 to 16 as a pair. Not difficult given the possible digits available, so not that useful. That 1 is looking at this cage, so that's a 1. Now, these two. I wanted to say, I don't know, did they? Yeah, they do include a 3. That 3 sees those, so one of them is a 3. That's probably not going to help me. Got to get a 2 in down here. If we put the 2 into this cage, we couldn't get to the total. So the 2's in the bottom cage. Four has to be placed somewhere here. If it was there, it would be with an 8 or 9. If it was here, it would be with a 7 or 8, I suppose. So 4 and 5 are in separate cages. Actually, oh, yeah, no, 6 can be in one of those two. Ah, I was thinking I was going to get to a conclusion about 4 being in a different cage from 5 and 6, but I am not. This is low, surely, for the arrow. What's the highest it could be? 1, 2, 6 is the highest it could be. So that is 2, 5 or 6. It's not 2 because that's in one of those cells. So it is 5 or 6. Now this has got quite high. It's absolutely minimum 8. And I think this is going to have to be 1. No, not quite necessarily. 5, 2, 2 would still give the right answer. Right, 5 and 6 go with somewhere between 7 and 9. Can it be a 6 here? No. Yeah, 7, 8 or 9 there. Then we have one of 4 or 5 on this arrow. On this heart section. On this arc of the heart. One of, well, yeah. We do have one of 4 or 5. If 4 is in that section. No, not necessarily actually. This could be 2, 3, 4 and that could be 5. So I'm not necessarily correct. That digit is in one of those two and one of those two. So one of them is an 8 or a 9. I'm not getting this. The flexibility around 14 or 13 as a cage total is quite... It really frees things up in the puzzle. Right, 1 and 3 is 4. If we had a 2... then this would be 7 or 8. If we had a 4 with it, this would have to be a 6. So 4 is the maximum that can be here with the 3. Or 2 in one of those cells. So this is either 2, 3, in which case 2 is there. And then you would have to have sums of 13 or 14 here and here. Just can't quite get through. So 1 and 2 are never on the heart. Or 3 actually. 1, 2 and 3 are never on the heart anywhere. Is that useful? Means 3's in one of those cells. It means there is a 1 in this cage, definitely, which was highly likely anyway. That's not 2 or 3 either. Now, they could both be in the cage. I can't force one of them out. Oh, tricky. Tricky. Oh, that can't be 3 because 3 is never on the heart. So it's 4, 5 or 6. If that was a 4, both of these would have to be 9. That would be incredibly helpful. But it can't be ruled out. So what are these 3 digits from? Come on, I need to think about this a bit. 2 of them are from 7, 8 and 9. Yes, that's got to be right. They cannot sit next to each other because that would always give a total of at least 15 in consecutive digits. So the 2 from 7, 8, 9 sit there. And they're different from each other. If they were 7 and 8, oh, this would have to give 13 with one of them and 14 with the other. So it would be a 6. If they were 7 and 9, it couldn't work at all. if they were 8 and 9, this would be a 5. That's how it works. Why can I not see that? So that's a 5-6 pair. This is a 2-3-4 triple, and that is a 5 now. Now, 7, 8 or 9 there, and 6, 7, 8 or 9 here. Now this can't be a 5. It could obviously be 6. It can't be 7 because the total's, well, the total is at least 14, but we're not allowed to repeat a digit. Can it be 4? Yes, just. But both of these would be 9 then. That would be 8. That would be 5. And that would be 6. And you'd have 9 and 6 next to each other. That's no good. So that is not 4. That is 6. This is 5. This cage adds up to 13 or 14. This is 6. And this pair is a 7-8 pair. And now that's a 9. And now it gradually comes together maybe. We get 6 out of those cells. So I've got 7, 8, 9 triple. This is 2 or 4 left over. This one could be either 7 or 8. This one can't be 9 anymore. 5 hasn't, well, this is 1 or 2 and has been for a while. I just didn't pencil mark it. 6 is definitely in one of the, oh, 7 and 8 can't go with 8 or 9 here. Or 7 actually. 7 plus 7 is not allowed because of the repeat. 7 plus 8 is too much. So that's a 6. That goes with 7 or 8. We're getting to learn that 6 goes with 7 or 8. We're getting lots of 6s on the line. This could well be another 6, but it could be 5 at its point. And then this, is this going to be 7 or 8 again? It can't be 5 or 6 because they'd add up to 11, so it's more than that. It could be a 9 actually, with a sum of 14. This cage adds up to 13 or 14. I have not learnt quickly enough what that limits this to. 4 seems possible, 4, 9. So I'm going to put 4, 5 or 6. Yeah, I think that's right. Now, in these cells, we had some limits on what they were going to add up to, but maybe it's better to just consider the Sudoku digits. One of these is 2 or 4, and one of them is 7 or 8 in the column. I don't know, I don't find it easy to apportion these digits. I may try and do something else instead. So, must there be one digit out of 7, 8, 9 in this cage? I think there is always 1 out of 7, 8, 9 in a 13 pair. Because 5 and 6 aren't enough, yes. So that's the third 1 out of 7, 8, 9 in the box. So these are low digits from 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. The one sitting under a 4 is not a 4. That's an interesting point, actually, about the high digits, 7, 8, 9. Oh, here again, 5 or 6 this time. Can't be a 4, because that's not a 9 possibility. Then this has to be, I presume, 7 or 8. Oh, no, now it could be 9. Ah, but this, well, this has to be 5 or 6 again. Again, they can't both be from the high 3 digits. So 5 and 6 act together to give 13 one side and 14 the other, and this can't be 7 anymore. It is now 8 or 9, forming a pair. This is again 7, 8 or 9. I have to allow it to be 9. But this, which can't be 5 or 6, it's not going to be a high digit again, 7, 8 or 9. I think this is now 4 and is flanked by 2 9s. And now we are going to be making progress. That must be a 5. That's a 6. It doesn't change this. Oh, it doesn't even solve this. This now is surely, I was going to say 5, but it could still be 4. 4, except then it won't reach a partner here. It can't be 6 because of that digit looking across the grid. I think this has to be 5. We are always looking at a high digit and a middly digit in these pairs. That has taken me a long time to actually fully understand, but I have now got it. 2 high digits would either repeat a digit or be at least 15. 2 middly digits couldn't be more than 11. If you use a 1, 2 or 3, you won't get to the totals. It's right. Okay, so this is now the high digit, 7 or 8. So this can't be 4 anymore. And it sees a 6. Can't be 4 because we can't get to the total with that one. So this is a 5. This can't be 7 anymore. This is an 8. Actually, that couldn't have been 7 since I got that 5. This one is not 7. These have to only be 1 apart. So one of them's an 8. And that doesn't tell me what this is. These are not 5s. It's very interesting. I mean, it's taken me a while to get to the full understanding of just this simple fact that there's 1 high digit and 1 middly digit on each pair. But now we've largely filled the heart. That's good. Okay, this also needs a high digit, which is a 7, and therefore the middly digit is a 6. And they have to go that way round. This one, this digit itself sees 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So that's an 8, and this is now 5 or 6. The high digit here, I don't know, 7 or 9. I thought I would know that, and I don't. We've got 2, 3, and 4 to place in box 4. 6, 1, 4, 5. Right, there is a 7 or 8 in this cage that adds up to 13 or 14. If there was an 8, it would... Oh, there isn't an 8. There's an 8 sitting there. So there's a 7 in one of those cells. And it's either 7, 1, 2, 4 or 7, 1, 2, 3. So 1 and 2 are both in this cage. And 5 or 6 is in this cage along with 9. Well, that has to be 5 and 9. 6 and 9 would be too many. So 6 is there. That's become a 9 by Sudoku. That has to be 1 away, so it's an 8, and that allows them to form 14 and 13 with a 5 there. That sorts out 9 and 5. Now I know it's an 8 here. I was about to announce the heart is complete, and I nearly can do that. It's just that digit left to do. This has become a 9 though. That makes its arrow, well, I don't know, 531 or 522. You're going to have to tell me. These digits include an 8. If that was an 8, this would be 824, and that would break this cell. Oh, that's very neat. If this was the 8, the only minimum digits in this cage would be 824, giving the maximum total of 18, and you couldn't fill this cell anymore. So this is the 8, and that one below isn't. Now, this is a 4 or a 5 to make the addition work in this 3-cell cage. Haven't done any thinking about 3-cell cages. 6, 8, 1, 3, that's not an 8. So, 5 is in one of these. That's not very helpful. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to look at this cage, which has to have a high digit in, which is a 7. So the middly digit is a 6. And we can put them in. 6 there, 7 there. This is now a 4, so that's got to go with a 9. Now, we've got a 7 in this cage now, along with a 2, and then 4 or 3. And here we've got a 9 with 4 or 5. Oh no, it can't be with 3. 3's gone. 724, no, I've done the maths wrong. 724 or 725. I can't, oh look, 5, 5, that's a 5 by Sudoku. There we go. 5, 7, that is now a 2. Yeah, that's a 4. Those numbers are working. That's a 3, 2 pair. This is a 4. We're on the track now. 2, 4, 7. Oh, look, that's a naked 2 there. These are 4 and 7. Now, this is the only cage that I know must have a high and a middly, and it can't have 9. So it can't be, we can't put an 8 here, or the totals would be 12 or 15, just outside the range. So the high digit is a 7, which is there. 7 goes with 6 only. We have 1, 3 and 8 to place. 8's going to have to go into this cage along with 1 to make 13. That's a 3. 1, 2 pair. This is a 3, 9 pair. There they go. No 4 in those cells, so a 4 there. 1, the 1 actually. Black digit. Harder to see sometimes than the blue ones. Don't know why that can be. 3, 5 pair here. We're going to add up this cage in a minute. It's got an 8 in this cage, so it has to be 8, 1, 2, 3 in that case. Good. That gives me a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spot. Light losing its religion. 1 or 2 there. We can place 3 in this row. Oh, there's 1, 2 pair in this column, so I can put in 7 and 9. I'm going to use the rule to put me a 4 there. That's a 7. That's an 8. That's a 7. 2 in this corner. 2 there. Let's nip down and do 1 and 2. 1 here. These 2 digits are 2 and 3. There's going to have to be something to sort out these pairs. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's the arrow. Thank goodness for that. That is a Cupid's arrow finishes the puzzle for me. There we go. That makes the sum right on the arrow. That's going to give me the remaining digits in rows 4, 5 and 6. And that is going to complete our Teenage Love by Blobs. Lovely puzzle. Great fun. Lovely standard again. 23 minutes to solve the puzzle, so the video will come in just under 30 minutes. And that's exactly what we want. Have yourselves a great Valentine's Day, whether you're with someone you love or not. And if you're not, bear in mind that we all in the Sudoku community love you too. Thank you for watching. We will see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.